Beneath the surface of our nation's oil and gas industry lies a hidden environmental problem not as obvious as what happens above the surface. Orphan wells are a concealed source of air and water pollution that has been overlooked by the general public.
An orphan well is a subtype of abandoned oil or gas well, a term that refers to a non-producing well that could be plugged or unplugged. Petroleum entities are legally required to plug their wells after they are no longer economically viable. However, many go unplugged for many reasons. The major difference between an abandoned well and an orphan well is that the responsible entity of orphan wells is unknown, unavailable, or insolvent, placing the responsibility of remediation on non-responsible entities such as local government.
Orphan wells represent a national issue due to their widespread distribution in the United States. As of 2022, 117,672 orphan wells are documented by the U.S. Geological Survey. Hotspots exist in historically industrialized regions like Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Oklahoma.
These unplugged wells present environmental issues, including the gases they emit into the atmosphere. Orphan wells emit methane, a potent greenhouse gas, and other trace contaminants, such as hydrogen sulfide. According to the EPA, orphaned and abandoned wells contribute 3.2 million metric tons of methane annually. Orphan wells contribute 5 to 6% of this total.
Orphan wells also commonly leak a variety of chemicals into the ground, which can penetrate potable water resources and contaminate waterways that support ecosystems. 35% of documented orphan wells are located within 1 kilometer of domestic ground wells. This can lead to detrimental health effects.
The distribution of these orphan wells is potentially a case of environmental racism. 28% of people living within 1 kilometer of an orphan well are Hispanic or Latino, which is 8% higher than the national average. Additionally, 2.6% of people living within 1 kilometer of an orphan well are Native American, which is 0.8% higher than the national average.
Generally, the funding for plugging and reclaiming wells is led by the Bureau of Land Management. Bonds are administered to the Department of the Interior for 3 types of grant programs, and these programs provide about $4.2 billion to eligible states. However, there's an issue at hand. These bonds are not sufficient to reclaim the wells they cover. There is a lack of funding provided by the Bureau of Land Management to prevent orphaned oil and gas wells. The bonds haven't kept up with inflation, and they do not account for variables like number of wells they cover. Here's what can be done to solve the issue. The Bureau of Land Management doesn't have the authority to assess user fees. Therefore, Congress should consider giving them power. Additionally, the Bureau of Land Management should take measures to adjust bond levels to more accurately reflect predicted reclamation costs.
Oil wells aren't just limited to land. There's approximately 14,000 abandoned offshore wells located in the Gulf of Mexico, according to the U.S. Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement, many of which are leaking methane gas. Reporters from ABC News took a boat ride in the Trinity Bay, outside of Houston, and discovered the majority of the wells to be deteriorated and in threat of combustion.
We are utterly surrounded in every direction by abandoned oil and gas wells. I mean, it looks like a graveyard out here. There's actually a cactus growing from that platform right now. You can see it, clear as day.
Like most abandoned wells, these decaying rigs are rarely checked for leaks, which is why we've come to see if we can detect any ourselves. As we approach one well, we cut the engine and hear an ominous sound.
This is hissing. I can hear it.
There are multiple solutions to solving this environmental issue, with some even presenting opportunities for resource and sustainable development. However, each presents a unique challenge due to the varying site conditions, such as the location of the site, depth of the well, and other physical attributes. These in turn determine urgency, cost of capping, and potential opportunities for development. Overall, though as seen in the pictured table, capping, also called plugging, is the most consistent and effective method in all areas. Not only will the negative effects of orphan wells be reduced, but will be in a sustainable and economic manner. Change is accessible. Please reach out to those in power in your communities so that we can remedy this issue in the most effective way. One phone call may seem small, but their impacts are large when those in charge see a collective group interest. Please push for plugging now.